welcome to Ellis Mowers. I appreciate y'all watching. This is the video that some of y'all have been waiting for. I did a poll a little bit back asking what would you like to see engine-wise on this John Deere D110. Overwhelming response. I didn't even have to tally it because it was probably 90%. Y'all wanted to see the V-twin on here. And the reason why y'all wanted to see it, part of it was I can make it look original because I have a John Deere engine cover from a 125 rider that I did a while back, back in 2020. Did an engine swap on that. I actually did a twin to a single on that mower, an older 14.5 horse Briggs overhead valve, and had to do some adaptations to it. We're going to do the opposite on this mower. We're going to take the single off and put the twin on. The only way I don't do that is if I take this off and there's no internal damage and the governor is just falling off and I just have to put it back on. I highly doubt that that's the case. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll give you a walk around of this D110 and we will go ahead and take this engine off, look inside it first, and then we'll go ahead and get that twin off of the Craftsman that's out in the backyard. So let's get started. Alright, let me give you a quick walk around. The hood's over there. This thing looks almost brand spanking new. Just a little bit of grass built up on the deck, or a little bit of dirt built up on the deck, but that's it. It has still, I guess, 19.5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton, Intech, something let go at, and the oil is full. Let me show you. Full of oil. See it? So something let go in this thing at a whopping, what do we have on this thing? 78 hours? 75.6 hours on it. That's crazy. 75.6 hours on this mower and something let go inside. I just showed you how clean the oil was. Why it let go? Your guess is as good as mine, but we are going to put a twin on this. I am going to figure out what let go inside it before we do that. Let me show you the twin cylinder Briggs I'm going to put on it. If y'all saw my original video of my poll, here is the twin cylinder I'm going to put on it. 21 horsepower from that came off of this Craftsman. I don't think it's the original. Yeah, this thing's been franken mowered I don't know how many times. But the good news is I have a muffler, and like all the parts I need I have to make the engine look like it belongs on that lawn tractor, which is a huge plus in this case. So this one actually has the oil filter delete on it, so it does not have an oil filter. As far as I know, it has compression. I have not ran it yet. I will not know if it runs until I actually get it onto that mower in there, because that'll be the easiest way, I think. It is a little low on oil. Again, it is kind of sitting up right now, but when I turn it, I've got compression. And that's the pulley down there for the drive. So this Craftsman's got plans. It's never going to be another mower. It's never going to be a mower that's functioning anyways. Big obstacle I'm going to have to figure out is, it's not a big obstacle, but I am going to have to fabricate a choke cable, which means that I probably will have to drill a hole into the plastic dash and attach that cable to it in order for the choke to work. No big deal. I do not have the choke that came off of it. Off of that 125, I used that original throttle cable on it. The V-twin engine cover resides, I believe, right here. Right there. So I can clean that up. I have this piece to it as well. I just need to do that. It'll say 20 horsepower. Who cares? 20, 21 horsepower. It's just a matter of maybe like a couple of cubic inches or a slightly bigger / smaller jet size. So let me show you what I'm going to do to get this engine off. Camera's already done. I've done a lot of filming today. Got to disconnect the stator right here. Disconnect the starter, which includes disconnecting the battery. Wiring to go to the solenoid and the coil over here. It grounds right there. And I'll finish taking this carburetor off, and then I'll just pull it off as it is. It's light enough. I got to drain the oil too. I'm going to do that all off camera. The access to these 4 bolts is very easy under the mower. All you got to do is look under there and see where they're at. It's 5/8. Take an impact, ratcheting wrench, pull it off. So I'm going to get to that point on this. Let this camera charge up some, and then we will we'll pull it up, we'll pull it out, and then I'll put it onto the bench, and we will see what caused this engine to blow before we end up putting the twin on it. All right, y'all, like I mentioned, I did everything that I mentioned. Got that carburetor off. Like I said, most of this was already kind of disconnected anyway. The ground wire to the fuel solenoid, unplug that. Got to get the, let's see, there's one more thing I got to do down here, and that's get this wire off of this clip on the far side over there. Excuse me. Just breathed in a bunch of metal dust. I'll tell you why in just a second. So that's down. Oh, I do need to disconnect the starter real quick. I'll do that on camera very quickly. But here's what, man, I don't know how tight Briggs had these bolts, but holy moly, they were tight. So it's 4 mounting bolts. You can access them. All you got to do is drop this deck arm. You can access all 4 of them with the right impact and extension. Man, you need an impact for them. It took every bit of my Milwaukee to get them off. They were locked on there. So, and then also your bolt here for the pulley. You can just take that off and let the pulley hang. You can access everything else. So let me get a 7/16 wrench. I'll take that starter nut off, and then we'll just remove the engine. Battery's disconnected, by the way. Okay. Let's see. I can take out the dipstick as well. I'll just get that out of the way. I'll disconnect this yellow wire and this red wire. Come on. There we go. The red wire, there we go. And I'll disconnect the ground wire, so that's just a pigtail. Let me get a 5/16 also. I'll disconnect the ground on this pigtail here as well. This is also the screw for the module onto the dipstick. There we go. make it a little bit easier for us to get this off without us battling the dipstick. Okay, so in theory this should just come on off here. Oh, I need to do the throttle cable over here too. I knew I was forgetting something silly. So yeah, throttle cable as well right here. We'll take that off. I'll set y'all back down here in just a second, and I'm going to finish doing that, and then we'll pull it. Sorry to keep y'all waiting. I'll keep y'all right there, because we're going to bring it right over there. Okay, pull the cable out. Easy enough. All right, let's see if this thing will just come on off here. What am I hung up on? I don't think I'm hung up on anything. Am I? Aha. That's what it was. Ugh. Not much of those little Briggs singles, are they? So, let me turn it upside down or sideways or however I'm going to do this. Just like that. Maybe even full on like that. Nah, we'll go like that. So here's what I'm going to do next. I'll do this off camera real quick, but I'm going to take, I guess they're 1/2 inch. I'm going to take all of those off. I don't have to take the oil pump bolts off, but that should get us to where we can just tap everything out. Once we can tap everything out, I'll reveal what's inside for us. All right, y'all, making a little bit of a mess as always, but here's what we're going to do. I'm going to grab this plate here. Throw it under here so I don't screw it up, mess anything up any worse. Okay. Rubber mallet. I'm just taking it off. Alright, I think we're ready to reveal. You ready to see what's inside this thing? I don't see anything wrong, apart from the fact that this balancer is hitting up against the governor there. I don't see anything wrong, y'all. But why were there crunchies? Why was I getting like crunching action, it seems? Let's just look, I guess. Compression release is intact. There's no... That looks good. Huh. Y'all, I'm very tempted to just put this thing back together and see what happens. I don't see a thing wrong with this at all, actually. I don't see a thing wrong. But why? Very interesting. It sounded like things were trying to crunch up and stuff. You don't reckon the oil pump was locked on it, do you? Let me grab some pliers real quick. Oil pump's not locked up. I don't know, guys. The only thing I can figure is that the governor and this balancer were hitting on each other. So you can see that. Because it didn't throw the governor or anything. The governor looked fine. And there's no, I mean, I'll get a magnet through there, but I don't think there's anything that's fallen off or anything. So I'm tempted just to, excuse me guys, tempted just to put it all back on. I'll put it back together and see what happens. If we can get it to run and everything. It did tear the gasket, so I probably do need to put a gasket on it. But just to see if it runs, I mean, I can throw some oil in there and let it run for a little bit. I don't know. Very curious. What do y'all think? I don't see anything wrong with it. Like the governor's even... Oh, let's see. Hold on a second. The governor might be locked up. No, it's running right. I don't know. Might put it back on and see what happens. Alright, y'all, never mind. We got something going on at the very top end here of the crankshaft where it's grinding up against stuff. I don't know if you can hear it. Ugh. So something up top has gone out in this thing, which is not good, but that might be another project for another day. I'm tempted though, because I have a block sitting outside. I might bring the block in and transfer the other items over to it, but I gotta make sure that it'd be good to go first, because compression release is good, governor's good. And it'd be a direct bolt on, and I can make the engine cover and everything just fit on it and make it look stock as opposed to the V-twin. Because I got a V-twin, I'll tell you what I would love to do. And I don't know if I can or cannot, or what I would love to be able to do is put this V-twin on this LX 427 Toro here that has the blown up Kohler. Now, here is the block that I was talking about that I have. See it? I can transfer absolutely everything over to this block, like head, everything. It's been sitting out here, but the block is good. It ran fine. I've just got to get all the water and crap that's gotten in it, because I thought the engine was bad, but I got a bad compression release. I had to change the stator over and everything, but I could possibly do that. Let me get this block in and take the bolts off of that and see how bad it is. It'll just take some time to transfer everything, but if I can, then we will, and then we'll have a good everything here. Not have to worry about, you know, all that. I have to change the throttle assembly and everything over, but I'm not going to rebuild that engine block, so I have everything that I need. Very tempted to. Very tempted to. Let me get it on the bench and I'll decide. Let y'all decide with me. I really want to put that. I want to put the V-twin on, but that's going to take some modification. This can be something very easy to change out. Decisions. Alright, y'all. We might have some promise here. I'm not sure. Well, idiot me put the engine block outside because I didn't really have any storage space, number one. But number two, I thought this engine was bad in terms of like a spun bearing or something. I don't know. So this is the one I put that bad compression release in and just said screw it in terms of fixing it. So I'm going to go ahead and take, so there's some rust in there. I've used some brake cleaner. I'll have to use some more to get a bunch of trash and whatnot out of the engine here, because it's been sitting out for a little bit. But hey, we might be able to salvage something. I might actually end up in the good here. But I'm going to take these 3/8 bolts off here and see if I can get the piston free and get it moving back up and down. Hopefully there's no rust in the cylinder. If so, I'll just spray some lubricant in there and should allow it to move some. I hate it for that engine right there. That's unfortunate. But what we can at least do, at the very least, is like literally take, this will be a full rebuild. We're taking the head. We're literally taking everything except for the block and the crankshaft off of this and putting it on this so that we get rid of all the whole rust issue and stuff that I created myself, unfortunately. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a 3/8 to get these head bolts off. I'll get the piston free, and then I'll start the whole process of transitioning everything over to this other engine block. So let me go ahead and do that. Man, I'm really regretting myself, honestly, because this is a little bit embarrassing. what has happened to this engine since I've stored it outside. But just, I mean, just like sulfur, I don't know what that is, but I gotta take a lot of brake cleaner and wipe all that rust down, lubricant, get that cylinder moving smoothly again. And once I can do that, then we'll be good to go. So let me do some work on this. Like I said, I'm going to transfer the new head over to this, so I'm not going to worry about the head so much. Head gasket looks to be in very good shape, so I'll keep that. I don't know if I'll be able to take it off. No. So I'll try and keep it on there as I work with this cylinder mess. I'm so mad at myself because I could have avoided all this, but at the time I didn't think the engine was good. So be it. Set it outside, they say. No, don't do this. Don't follow my guidance, I guess. All right, y'all, we've got some promise. Look how clean this cylinder is, actually. Just a little bit of rust right there where I mentioned that I left it outside, if I haven't mentioned that enough already today. Anyways, so we've got it turning. I've got it as good as I can in there. I might kind of do a wipe through one more time just to get some of that residual rust out of there. But I sprayed some lubricant and stuff around it and in it, and that seemed to really help it. So you can see it's moving pretty good. I would want to spray a little bit of lubricant in there so it doesn't seize up. And guys, this is gonna be fun, y'all. I think it's gonna be kind of cool. Get this going again. Again, like I said, I'm literally swapping everything over except for the crankshaft. Shoot, I can even swap this gear over. Really ain't gonna make a difference, but like I said, literally I'm swapping absolutely everything over except for the crankshaft. So there we go. Part number 1. Woo! This gasket might actually seal up to where I do not have to do anything else to it. That would be a big plus if I could pull that off. But at this point of the day, I've got to do this tomorrow, because at this point of the day, it's going to be a little bit too much for me to do right now. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to trying to figure out where that pin came from. This pin right here came from. It looks like it's one of these guys, but I'm not sure. I'll figure that out at some point. But like, we got the oil pump and everything. This was an oil pump engine. So, and then obviously I've got the camshaft. The camshaft and the governor look great. So I don't think there'd be any issues with that. I gotta switch the throttle plate over, starter, and all that good stuff. So, now that we have the plan of attack, we're gonna go ahead and do it. And like I said, if this works, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fantastic. I've got all the parts, like the push rods and everything in here. The head, like I said. I think I got the push rods in here. Yeah, push rods are in there. So it's got the air filter, spark plug, everything for the gasket there. I think I can honestly do this in a day's time. I just need some serious time to work on it. But that's the plan, guys. So let me go ahead and get started, and I'll give you updates on the progress. Alright guys, I'm at the point to put at least the camshaft and the governor in this thing. It's the beginning of a long rebuild process, but I have the timing marks lined up here. I will be putting the camshaft in, line it up with the dots. Actually, I need to put the lifters in it first. I will transfer the lifters from the old head, or from the messed up block into the new block. Oh, I made that mistake last time. There's that random hole in the middle there. Okay, lifters are in. Camshaft, like we've got a good compression release, so, or at least it's intact. I've had, sometimes they're not intact, but still good. Oh, I'm an idiot. So there's apparently two different marks on here. One of them is to line up the keyway for the camshaft, and the other one is to line up the actual camshaft. I was 180 degrees off, y'all. You're looking for the dot, not the arrow. So let's line the arrow up, or the two dots up. There we go. And the governor is right there. And once we get that governor arm on here, we'll have some tension on it. So now, so far what I'm seeing is that this gasket is still in good shape. It has one tear right here, but that's it. So I think I can save it everywhere else. What I'm going to do next is scrape the rest of the gasket material off of the new sump, and we will see if that works. We'll put the sump on, and then we'll do everything else. All right, guys. Got the sump back on. Like I said, I think the gasket looks good on it. Taking off the oil pump bolts right now. And what we've got to do is take this oil pump and put it aside for a second, or what we can do is we've got to match it up. So I've got the oil pump shaft somewhere. There it is. So I've got to take this piece out. Come on. Make sure we get some pliers here. I gotta take this piece out. One second. Maybe need some pliers, come on. Just a little square piece. That's all we're trying to get out right now. Okay. This thing wants to be a little booger bear. I'll take the whole shebang out, why not? Put that back in. And we'll put the oil pump shaft back in. We'll get it, turn it until it latches, just like that. And we're going to kind of twist this around until we can get it to where it will fit in there for us. And that should be it right there. Okay, so it fits in that slot. To get the sump on, all I did was kind of give it a couple little taps with a hammer. So that should be good. Like I said, I'm switching everything over. I'm just trying to make sure that I do it right so I don't have to do it twice. Putting the oil pump bolts back on. 2, 3. Alright, so now I'm going to take the sump bolts, just finger tighten them. I'm going to finger tighten all of them, and then what I'm going to do is write them down with probably my 3/8 impact, and then I will put them torque wise down to 15 pound-feet or 180 inch-pounds. So makes you wonder, why do we call it pound-feet and then we don't call it pound-inches? Good question. I'll do that. Once I catch up to that point, we will keep on cruising with most likely the head after that. Alright y'all, I've gotten the mating surface of the head clean here. This is the new head. Well, the one that came off of the John Deere. Like I said, I'm taking everything, and I'm about to not put a head gasket on. That would be a crime. So here's the head gasket that I have here. It's complete and intact, so we're going to pop it on here. If I can get it on right, like so. And it's kind of strange when you're looking at it the wrong way how it goes, but it's going to go on just not like that, apparently. There we go. Just like so. Got my bolts right here. The 3/8 bolts. Gonna put them all in here. Get them finger tight, and then I'll run them in with an impact. Use light force on the impact. Don't run them in too much. Then I'll just torque them down with a 3/8 ratchet. I'll look up the proper torque specs. That's it. Let me get some 3/8 here. Torque specs. Star pattern. Got one over there. And all right, let me look up the torque for this. I'll torque them correctly, and then I guess what's the next order of business? We're gonna we might go ahead and mount it. I'll put the push rods in for the intake and the exhaust. Go that way, silly. There we go. Intake push rod. So this is a steel one. This is the exhaust on the top. I had to disconnect that to make it work. But the intake one, gotta get it fit down into the, we got it quite yet, do we? There we go. Alright, so I got the push rods in. I'll do the torque on these to the correct spec. Take these out a little bit with a, looks like a 1/2 inch or a 7/16. I've got to find that, I got to find me a cap here for the, you see this cap right here? I'm missing for this valve, so it's living around in the box somewhere, I'm sure. Yep. This is a commonly overlooked item, those caps. So there. Then, once we get everything on, turned over, the next big job is going to be the flywheel. Once we do the flywheel, we'll be pretty darn close. So, let me do that work I just mentioned. And we'll move on to, I think we'll go ahead and move on to mounting this thing. And then we'll continue with the flywheel and all the other stuff. All right, making progress. We've got the starter on, we've got the throttle mechanism on, the throttle linkage, I guess. So everything with the governor should be working as it should. I didn't adjust the governor on it. Exhaust, I don't know if this plate right here is bent up or something, but it seems like the exhaust is having a little bit of trouble. No, there we go. It was just, I guess before I mounted it, I was having trouble with it. Again, we'll get all that situated here in just a second. So I guess we're at the point with the flywheel, right? So what I'm going to do, take the flywheel off of this. We've pretty much transferred everything over now except for the flywheel fan and the shroud guard, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to take this 15/16. I've already popped the John Deere cover off. We got to take the stator off too, but that's part of all this. We'll get this, take that off. All right, I'm going to save that bolt. Take this off, take this off, and we're down to the flywheel now. So put this aside. I've already taken the coil off as well. I have my flywheel removal bolt here. I use this one instead of the one I'm going to put on the mower, mostly because I would rather, I've got this one that's already beat up, as you can kind of see. I can't even really put a socket around it. So basically I just thread that in here. I'm going to get a pry bar. I'm going to pry up on it, actually. Yeah, I'll pry up on the with the pry bar, and then I'm just going to give it a couple of taps right here, see if I can pop it off. So let me do that. Let me get my tools, pop it off. We'll put the flywheel on. All right, guys. Luckily, 4 hits with the hammer. Got it. So I'll take this off. Again, I just keep this designated as my flywheel hitting bolt, because what you do is you end up mushrooming all this mess. So I just hand tighten it. Alright, come on out, buddy. There we go. I'm gonna put it on the top here. Now, okay. There we go. Much better. Come on. Doesn't want to come. Interesting. So, aha! That might have been my issue right there, actually. Well, oh my gosh, guys, that was my issue. You can't be, you gotta be serious. You gotta be joking me. All that work, that's not a ton of work, but all that work that I did, and I lost a flywheel magnet. I guess I got all the other ones, but dang. So this block is good. Go figure. I threw a flywheel magnet. Well, that kind of sucks. Either way, this block had been kind of taken apart anyways. But what the good news is that these blocks are pretty prone to throwing rods. So what I can do is keep all the part, or keep this block for future use. Either way, I would have had to do some work, but nowhere near the extensive work that I ended up doing to this if I had just seen that that flywheel magnet was broken on it. I don't know if one magnet missing is going to make any difference. We're going to find out, I guess. Might give a little bit of an irregular charging. Man, I was sold on the fact that something had happened to this block. But apparently it didn't. It was just the magnets. We're already kind of past the point of no return with this one, though. In putting on the stator and everything. Again, as long as there's no leaks, everything in the block on this one is good. So we'll keep pushing on. I just created a little bit extra work for myself, but I mean, wasn't crazy. So I'm going to continue on. I don't know if missing a magnet is going to make that much of a difference, honestly. I'm just going to put it on there and see what happens. And see what happens with it. Alright, y'all, we're going to split this video up into two parts. So I'm going to end part one here. We just figured out the magneto, or the magnets inside the flywheel. That was really the only problem with it. It took, I guess one person misdiagnosed it. I misdiagnosed it, but I was actually able to figure out the real problem. But we're, waist deep in this rebuild, so it's time to finish it now, and we'll pick that up in part two coming up here in the next video. So thank y'all for sticking with me. We'll have a part two. We'll finish up the rebuild, see if it runs, what problems may arise with it running, and anything else that we've got going on. So thank y'all again for watching. I appreciate it as always, and I'll catch you on part two of this John Deere D110.